Let's continue, Rabbi. So I want to tell you a question that I received when I was going for smicha. So one of the questions that I got was a very interesting question, and it went like this. What happens if a person is in a hotel and somebody lights candles, Shabbos candles. He lights Shabbos candles on a chair because he wants to light somach l'shulchan by the table where he eats in order to get hana. Shiloh, if you need hana from the candles, or not need hana from the candles, malchikas for and shulchan aruch. Okay, so there he is. He lights the candles on the chair, and a waiter comes along right before the meal. When no one's there, the dining room is empty, and he takes the candles off of the chair, puts it on the table, and puts the chair back in the pile. Can you sit down on Shabbos or not? That's the shaila that I was asked smicha, and I went for smicha not on Hilchos Shabbos. I went for smicha on Yeridea, right? Yora is on Yeridea. It's on Basar V'Cholot, Taruvos, and everything else, right? It's not on Hilchos Shabbos. But I guess whoever gave me smicha expected, like, what do you mean? You can't just know Yeridea. You can't just know Basar V'Cholot when you get the smicha. You need to know also Hilchos Shabbos. So what would be the case? Does anyone hear the shaila b'chol? You hear the shaila, right? Aaron, you got the shaila, right? So it's a simple shaila. What's the answer? Can you sit down on Shabbos or not, Mordechai? Can you sit down on Shabbos or not? What?
It was Muktza when Shabbos came in, so it's Muktza now.
It was Muktza when Shabbos came in. We made it Muktza the ganze Shabbos. It's very good. Bosis, right? Shaila Bosis.
So you're not moving. What's the Shabbos came in?
And it's as Shabbos came in. When Shabbos came in, something Muktza was on there, right?
You're not moving it. You're sitting on it.
Well, I'm going to move it to my place. I'm going to move it in. I'm going to move it out. It's a chair. Binyamin, am I allowed to move a chair on Shabbos Kodesh? So the answer that I told him was, Avada, it's not Muktza. Why? Because the Ramah says in Simon Shintes that Ein Odom Oiseh Dova She'ena Shaloi. You cannot forbid something that doesn't belong to you. It's not yours. Now, what's the shaila? Why do you ask me the shaila? I'll just give you a little bit of background. Why do you ask me the shaila? It wasn't really Hilchos Shabbos for hair. It was a fair in Yeridea. What's the shaila? It's a beautiful shaila, this one, by the way. The shaila is like this. If you hold its Bosis, meaning if you hold the chair became Muktza, so now it's a double choshev. Now, we paskin halacha ma'aser Yeridea, some kuf gimel, kuf dalet, the kuf yud, that double choshev is einoi bottle. It can never be bottle. So that means if you have one chair that's Muktza, that's mixed with 3,000 chairs in the whole hotel, every chair becomes Muktza. Because it's not bottle. It can never become bottle. Okay? So theoretically, if the chair would have become Bosis, every chair in the hotel is now a Bosis, because I don't know which one it is. And it's not bottle. It's not bottle b'roiv, it's not bottle b'shishib, it's a din in tam, this is a din in double choshev. So, since I told him that anyway, it doesn't become Muktza because there's no problem. But theoretically, that was the shaila. Now, why am I telling you this? Why am I telling you this? Because this is very, very negaya. Okay? Now, again, we're in the middle of Bosis. We've got a couple of shurim more to do on Bosis, because Bosis is absolutely huge, but so negaya. So we'll probably spend this week on Bosis. And the shaila is like this. What happens if a person puts something onto something else that doesn't belong to him? Does that make it Bosis? Does that make it Muktza? And the answer is no, because it doesn't belong to you. So if you go to somebody's house, Morty, and Erev Shabbos, you put something on the table, that's Muktza, Erev Shabbos. Shabbos comes in, it's there. It will not make it Muktza. Even though it was put there, al das, I wanted to stay there with all the conditions. But you have this condition, which we mentioned, it has to be put in by the owner. This is not the owner. You're not the owner. You cannot forbid something that doesn't belong to you. Mimela. If that's the case, it will not become Asa, says Tosfos in Shabbos Mendaladom and Beis. Hold on a minute. Says Tosfos, L'Toivas Chaveiroi will yes make it Muktza. So for example, classic. A husband is running around the house. No, that's a simple one. A cleaner is running around the house, right? The cleaner's running around the house and she's quickly putting things in their place before Shabbos. So she puts something Muktza onto something else, or in the drawer, or whatever it may be. It's not hers, doesn't belong to her. It's l'toivas chaveiroi. She's doing it for you! And if they're doing it for you, you're happy with it, you want it, then avad, it's okay. And Mimela makes a Muktza. Same thing will be with your wife. If your wife puts something on, it doesn't belong to her, but etzem belongs to you. You're the husband. But l'maisa, since she's doing it for you, then that's kavad. It's considered to be l'toivas habal, l'toivas chaveiroi, and therefore that's why it will make it Muktza. Not only that, if you get permission, then obviously it's okay. If you got permission to use this item, even if it doesn't belong to you, then putting something on it will make it into a Bosis. Yes, sir.
What if you specifically told her not to do it, so it's not actually with your permission?
No, then obviously not. Then it will not. Then it's not the Tovas Chaver. You told her not to do it. She has no permission. It will not make it Muktza. It will not make it into a Bosis. Okay? That's our shayla. It will not make it a Bosis. Okay, now. Okay, let's move on, Rabbi Say. What about a guest? A good shayla. What if you go to somebody's house? You're staying in somebody's house and you light Shabbos candles. And you light it on the table. Comes Shabbos morning, they need that table. Is it a Bosis? What do you want to say?
No.
Why not? Huh?
Because you can't do it to your friend.
What do you mean? But they gave you the room to use. It's in your bedroom. Hello? The shayla is like this. Do we say, right? This is the chakira. Do we say that you're a guest in the house with permission and you have that room to use? Mimela, everything in that room, ki'ilu, belongs to you to use in the way that you want to use it. Mimela will make it into Bosis. Or do we say no? They only are giving it to you to use. That's something that won't be a shter to themselves. But if you're sharing their hishtamshas of the item, they're not going to give it to you. You hear the two sides of the chakira? Pretty simple, right? So there's a Mordecai Sefer called Nachlas Yisrael. Nachlas Yisrael, written by a Yid, Rav Kraus from Bnei Barak. Happens to be a son of Rabbi Kraus from Manchester, the Dayan. And a very, very chashuv Yid. He wrote a beautiful sefer on Hilchos Muktza, absolutely incredible. And on page Tov Tes Zayin, he brings a raya from Shulchan Aruch and some Mishnah Chav Gimel Sikot and Ches, which I'm not going into this moment of time what the raya is, but he wants to bring a raya la'alocha la'maisa that at the end of the day, a Bosis can make a guest can make something Bosis. He can, because at the end of the day, the owner gave him permission to use it. By the way, it's a very negay for Chanukah. It's very negay for Chanukah when you go stay somewhere and you put your menorah on a stool, on a chair, on a table, and the guest wants to use it, and the owner wants to use it the next morning. So again, according to that would be a problem. I asked this question to Moive Rebbe Rafalk Zatzal, and Rafalk told me that it does not. No, a guest has no permission to use something if it is going to shter the owner, because the owner never would have agreed to give it to him if he would have known that he won't be able to use the table. Mimela, lefiza, a guest will not be able to make it Muktza. Now, wife and children. So there's a Mordecai Marsham. If I'm not mistaken, this week is the Yortzeit. I think so. I think the Marsham Das Torah in Shin Tesiv Daled brings this down that if wife puts a Muktza onto something that belongs to her husband, it does not make it Bosis unless it's the Tzorech Habal, the Toivas Habal, for his sake. Then obviously, young children can never make something Bosis. Very negeya. A young child put a Muktza toy on a table, on a chair, in a drawer. A young child has no das, and therefore will not make anything Muktza. Older children, obviously over bar mitzvah, bas mitzvah, then obviously yeah. What about public property? What about something that doesn't belong to a specific person? Again, the Ramah says, Ein Adam Oisha Dova She'ein Shaloi, right? Shel Chaveroi. But Lemaisa, this doesn't belong to Chaveroi. This belongs to the public. What's the case? The halacha is, it will not make it Muktza, it will not make it Bosis, because again, it doesn't belong to a specific person. What about a Bocha in Yeshiva? So Rav Vozna has a kovetz called Beis HaLevi, Mi Beis Levi, Ches Omid Chav Gimel, that he brings down that can a Bocha in Yeshiva make his bed into a Muktza? Can he make his pillow? Okay, maybe his pillow belongs to him, but the bed doesn't belong to him. So if the bed doesn't belong to him, then maybe it won't become Muktza in that case. So the Maisa, what's that?
He's renting it.
He's renting it?
Yeah.
And a chanami, but it doesn't belong to him to make it.
Contract. You can't take it away.
That's not true. That is not true. 100%. Yeah.
How could you do that?
Because it doesn't belong to anyone.
Yeah, but he's paying rent for it.
Doesn't make a difference. You can take him another one. Hey, take that one. I don't need to sleep on this bed. I want to sleep on a different one. You can't say no. The bed doesn't belong to you. The chayfetz of the bed, the pillow maybe, yeah, but not the actual frame and not the bed. What about a stender in the shul? Very again, someone leaves their tefillin on the stender on the table, and they forgot Erev Shabbos to clean it up. They make it into Muktza? No, Avada not. It's not shaykh to you. It's not your stender, it's not your table. Then Avada, it will not make it Muktza. And the last thing as well, before we move on, is Hefka. That means making, putting something that's Vada going to be Hefka, will actually make it Muktza in this case. Now, let's move on. So that is talking about Dover She'ein Shaloi. That means that the item that has to be put on, the item that's the Bosis has to belong to you. If not, then it will not make it into a Bosis. Next, Rabbi Say, Zman Hanocha. We're holding by condition number, who remembers? Which condition are we holding by? There were 5, right? Which one are we holding by?
3.
What's that?
3.
Very good. Thank you very much. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, that's Kavaldik. This is condition number 3. And condition number 3 is Zman Hanocha. when did you put it on? In order for something to become a bosis, it has to be put on before Shabbos. That means before Shkia. That's what it is, right? And it has to be there, the ganze ben hashmoshes. Some hold even a little bit of ben hashmoshes, but a maisa, then as long as it was put before ben hashmoshes, it's okay. If you're makabel Shabbos early, what's the din? What's the din if a person was makabel Shabbos early? So he's makabel Shabbos early, he makes early Shabbos, and he finds that something is muktzah on the table. So he asks his neighbor, or someone that's not been makabel Shabbos, which is mutter, the Shulchan Aruch passing this way in Reish Samach Aleph, that you're allowed to ask somebody else who's not been makabel Shabbos to put it on. Is it going to become a bosis or not? That's the shayla. The answer is no. It will not become a bosis. Why? Because it's not Shabbos. Very beautiful that you makabel Shabbos, and therefore the melacha is also on you. Al seneda. Oh, but Shabbos it's not. Memela, the din of Muktza goes by Shabbos. If that's the case, if it wasn't there when Shabbos, actual Shabbos came in, even though you yourself have been makabel Shabbos, it's not going to have a bosis. Are you with me so far? I'm giving a lot of details, by the way, in this. I don't know if you realize, I could have done this in one whole share. We could have just done this whole thing. But I want to give details because it is so important to know all the details of bosses. Next, Rabbi say, condition number 4. 5 now. Right? Right. We said condition number 5 means that it has to be of some chashivas. That means the item of muktza that is placed onto something, in order to turn it into bosses, has to be some kind of importance. Something with basically no value whatsoever, no chashivas, will not make it bosses. And what's the svara? Hello? Anybody with me? Anybody with me today? The guy in the camera thinks this. He's not giving shit to anybody. We finally found out he's giving shit to an empty base. He just looks around to make it look good. No! What's the svara? It's too early in the morning, isn't it? Dovi, it's too early in the morning for this now. This in the afternoon. You might build a raft. That's a good one. I hear. You have another option? Second option? No, what's the svara? Hello? What was the svara of Bosis to begin with? What's the pshat that it makes it Muktza?
Because you didn't want it.
No!
You want that thing to hold up the book.
What does that mean? Define.
If not choshev, then you don't care it's there or not.
We're getting somewhere. As they say in Shea, everywhere, speak like a Lambton. Speak like a Lambton. You ever got that one in Shea? They must have told you that before, no? Mordechai, speak like a Lambton. Speak like, you give an answer. A bissel better, no? No?
By using it to hold it up, you're making a choshev.
We're definitely getting somewhere. What was the svara of Bosis? Even though we gave the Hakir in the svara. But the ikar, the svara was als toffel. That the item that's holding up the Muktza becomes toffel to the Muktza. Because it's holding up the Muktza. If it's a 10 agarot coin, the whole table becomes the toffel to the 10 agarot coin. I don't think so. And therefore, if that's the case, if the item that's Muktza, that's on the thing that's holding it, is no chashivas, no value, then halacha lemaisa, it will not become Muktza. What's that?
Ring on the candle.
No, don't even talk about candlesticks yet. We're not even there yet. I can't even go to that sugi yet before doing this Hakdama. This is all a Hakdama just to get to one thing. Where you realize this whole Shir Muktza was really just to get to one thing and discuss the famous mistake that most people in the world make of putting a ring on a candlestick. We'll talk about it. Be'ez Hashem, we'll talk. Don't worry. Before you get married, Be'ez Hashem, you will know what to do. You. Be'ez Hashem. Okay, however quick you're planning on getting married, you still will know what to do. Just this week, Mitzvah Shem, we're going to get to it. We'll get to that. But the whole side of buses, it becomes toffel. Over here, there's no toffel because what is it? To a 10 agarot coin. As I pass the Mishnah Berurah into Mishnah Yud, Sikot and Lamed Aleph, Halacha Lemaisa. Mishnah Berurah brings an example. Mishnah Berurah says if you've got a few pennies in a drawer, the drawer will not become buses. It's a few pennies. What is it already? Right? So the shayla is, what's the geder? Right, with Moshe, for example, it's a Truva Nerochaim Chelit Aleph Seminayin Gimel, where he writes that for a small amount, a person hasn't got Hesach Hadas. Person gets Hadas, meaning I don't need this anymore. From a few pennies, person doesn't do this. So what is the example? So the Mishnah Berurah says Kama Prutais, right? So the price can bring down, for example, anything that is so insignificant that you would not pick it up if it was on the street and you were walking on that street. That means it's not chashuv, right? No one's picking up a shekel coin. I'm assuming, right? Somebody once tried this, by the way. I don't remember. It wasn't this yeshiva. It was a different yeshiva. They actually tried this. They took a 10 shekel coin, or maybe it was a 5 shekel, maybe it was even a shekel. I don't remember. And they glued it to the floor, and they just watched. And I think they took videos of it, with the camera, not a phone. And they were walking. They were watching people walking past, like really trying to. And that guy was really embarrassed when he couldn't pick it up. So kind of hoping that no one was watching, and he kept on walking. But it's amazing what people will pick up. So the poskim say anything that you wouldn't pick up is not chashuv mimela. If a 1 shekel, I don't know how many. Would anyone pick up 1 shekel from the floor?
Morty.
He wants you to answer. No, he wants you to answer.
Of course.
He wants. You would, right? Okay, 10 agarot, would you?
Yes. Morty.
Would you?
You go to Burger
He wants you to answer. He wants you to answer. Would you?
Morty, if there was a heavy
You would?
Probably.
10 agarot, probably not, right? 10 agarot? Okay, so if there's a 10 agarot on the stender is not Muktza. Even if it was placed at Aldas, even if it was your stender, with all the other conditions, okay? What about one piece of paper in a Gemara? There's a lot of people that are machmeh, we can't use a Gemara in Shabbos because it's got paper in there for its bosses. It's the also Chaim Kanievsky. What's the halacha? If you have one piece of paper in a sefer, does the paper is Muktza, right? Now, let's say it's a Kli Shemalachta Le'isa, so then you'd be okay. Because the din of the bosses gets the din of the Muktza. So if the Muktza is a Kli Shemalachta Le'isa, and it's so Gufa Makom is Mutter, so therefore the paper is Kli Shemalachta Le'isa, and therefore moving the sefer, which would be a bosses, theoretically would be Kli Shemalachta Le'isa, moving Mutter to Gufa Makom, as you learn in Semishin Chesed Gimel, right? So, if it's Muktza Machas case, if you hold it's a choshev piece of paper, it's a piece of stationery with your name on it, you give out to people for mitzvah presents, whatever it would be. What's the din? What's that?
What about your notes?
What about your notes? No, notes is not Muktza. You need your notes. No. Once you write on it, it becomes a chayda. Well, these notes, it's not Muktza. No, these are usable. I made them into something usable. Blank paper is Muktza. Blank paper is Muktza.
Why blank paper?
Because it's a kli, because it could be used. And how do you use it? Through writing, which is this a kli shemalachta le'isa. But if you hold to Muktza machas kiss like a piece of paper, so only because Rabbi Chaim Kanievsky said no. One piece of paper in a sefer is beseder gomor, and it will not turn it into Muktza in this case. Let's move on. In fact, by the way, in Reb Nissen Karenet Zatzal and Chutshani brings down that if you got a few coins in a drawer, he held that actually would be Muktza. Because he held if you put it there, it means it's choshev to you. Why don't you just throw it on the floor? You put it in the drawer before Shabbos. So now, that, for example, over here by the chazan, you put it in the drawer before Shabbos, and you close the drawer, that drawer's not going to be Muktza. According to Reb Nissen Karenet. Why? Because I put it in there.
I wouldn't throw dirt on my floor either. Dirt's not worth, it's not worth anything.
What about bottles of empty soda?
I won't throw it because I don't want it to be on the
Why
Shabbos
about 2
table.
pieces of steak?
I want it to be on the Shabbos
Pieces of steak? Okay. Moving on, Rabbi Isai. So let's just finish off with one halacha. We've got to get to a lot of things in bosses. We've spoken a little bit about it. Now let's get to some halachas. Practically speaking, halacha lemaisa. If something is a bosses, what is the din? We've learned that already, right? Dovi, simple. You cannot move it even if the muktzah gets removed. The item remains a bosses the ganze Shabbos. Nothing you can do about it. As long as it fulfills all the conditions we said, it remains muktzah. What if it's not a bosses? For example, it was put on not by the owner, it was only put there on Shabbos, other things that we spoke about, Davar She'eino Choshev, all these things. What's the din of an Einoi Bosis? What is the halacha lemaisa? So what do we say? Shake it. You shake the stender, the coins fall off, bang. Now you can go along and you could use the stender, right? That's the din. What if I can't shake it? Toivi, what's the din if I got a digital camera on the stender? I don't want to shake it. Very nice, the halach is to shake it. I don't want to shake my digital camera to fall on the floor. Morty, what do I do now? What's that?
That's valuable.
100%. So what do I want to use the stender. It's my stender, I bought it, and therefore I, Lemaisa, can make it bosses. I put my camera before Shabbos, I wanted to stay there the whole Shabbos. For some reason I want to use the stender now. In my house, what's the din? I can't, very nice, the halach is to shake it. I don't want to shake it. Binyamin, what do you do? So the halacha allows the person to pick it up, and move it to where he wants to go, let's say to a bed or to a cushion or a couch, shake it over there. So if you've got a digital camera on your pillow, could be a shadow buses. Pick up the whole pillow, move it to the couch area or somewhere else, slide it over there, and that will be okay. So even though theoretically you're meant to shake it in its place, if I cannot, either because the item will break, or like the Shatzian says, maybe I need the mokim. And as if I shake it here, it's not going to help me to put a digital camera on the floor, someone's going to step on it. I want to put it on the side. So pick it up, move it to the side, and shake it. What we have to discuss Be'ez Hashem tomorrow, which we're going to get into, is what happens if you have a Bosis, a Dover Issa, and a Dover Heta. You've got a drawer with some money in it, and you've also got your reading glasses. What's the din in that case? Be'ez Hashem tomorrow. Join us. Have a wonderful day.